For somebody that's going to take on more walking, hearing what we're talking about today, we often hear about 10,000 steps being the sweet spot we want to aim for on a daily basis. Do you know where that came from? And is there any truth to that? And if we go out beyond that, do the benefits get even better?
The benefits do get better if you go beyond that. The 10,000 steps, the latest story, maybe you've heard this, it was a Japanese pedometer company that was selling these pedometers that measures the amount of walking you do. And this goes back, decades, who said that the sweet spot was 10,000 steps a day. And you use our pedometer to monitor that, right? And to prove that you've achieved that. I think 10,000 steps a day it's a aggressive, for me, it's 5 miles of walking. That's a fair amount of walking. That's 35 miles a week of walking. How many people run 35 miles a week? Well, I guarantee you, I can walk 35 miles a week. I've done it. I've walked 70 miles a week and feel great and go to the gym and lift weights and have all the energy that I need, whereas if I were running 35 miles a week, I would not have the energy. I would have to, my joints would have to recover a little bit more aggressively or, less aggressively. And I probably would be less inclined to go do the other things like sprinting once in a while and like going to the gym. And, we talked a little bit about sprinting. What does that look like? Well, sprinting is basically a quintessential human activity. Most of our ancestors had to sprint once in a while for their lives, but not a 400 meters. By then it was you'd either been eaten or you were starting to jog again. What we talk about is sprinting anywhere from 6 seconds to 30 seconds, 6 or 8 times in a workout once a week. Now you can go more, you can be more, again, aggressive about that, but even as little as 6 or 8 seconds up to 30 seconds with a 2-minute rest in between constitutes a pretty significant workout. And as I've said for 20 years now, nothing cuts you up, nothing, becomes fat burning over a long period of time better than sprinting. Now, does sprinting have to involve running if you've got bad knees, if you're overweight? No, sprinting can be on an elliptical trainer. It can be on walking hard on a 15-degree incline up on a treadmill. Can be on a bike or on an assault bike, on a rope pull machine. There's lots of ways to sprint, but the intention is to do an all-out activity as hard as you can, whether it's, again, swimming or on a ski erg machine or rower or assault bike, and do it as hard as you can for those few seconds, and then rest, and then do it again in an all-out effort. Don't need to do it every day. Some people make the mistake of benefiting so greatly from their first couple of sprinting efforts. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this every day. Well, if you can do it every day, you're not doing it hard enough on the days that you're doing it. And you should not be able to repeat that effort the next day. You should be able to walk away from that workout, be refreshed and be ready to take on the day, not beat up and knackered. But you really don't need to sprint more than once every 5 or 7, sometimes 10 days for it to be an integral part of a training program that includes a lot of walking, a little bit of sprinting, and some weightlifting in the gym.
Well, let's talk about that latter piece. We've gone into walking now, sprinting. For somebody that wants to have the trifecta in place over, say, a week, what would the resistance training piece look like?
So when I first wrote the Primal Blueprint back in 2008, I put together a training strategy that was move around a lot at a low level of activity all day long, every day. So for most people, that means walking. So just move. Don't count calories. Certainly you can count steps as a metric, but don't think about the calories you're burning. That's not what it's about. Move around a lot at a low level of activity. Lift weights twice a week. And if that's a full body routine, twice a week. And if you do it the way you should not be able to repeat it 2 days later right? You should still be a little bit sore 2 days later. The reason you work out is to be able to get stronger. And in order to get stronger, you have to do the work, and then you have to recover, you have to repair, you have to rebuild from that work. So there's a lot of people who get started on a training program and they like, this is amazing, I'm going to do this every day. Well, then they get into a rut because they're not improving. They're doing the same workouts every day. And they're not getting stronger and they're not getting more powerful. They are getting more tired and they are getting more sore. So my strategy was move around every day a lot at a low level of activity, lift weights twice a week, sprint once in a while. So that now 20 years into that template, if you do that, if you're not a high performance athlete and you stick to that template, you will get to 80 or 90% of your max potential as an athlete. You don't need to be putting in 2 hours a day of hard training to get to a great physique. Look, 80% of your body composition is determined by diet, right? 80% of how you burn fat and retain muscle depends on your food choices. The exercise part, it's necessary, but it's not necessary at the amounts that most people think it is.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch a full episode. I'll see you over there.
Dietary fiber is not that necessary if you are taking in, for instance, larger amounts of collagen-based products, because the gut bacteria, the gut biome loves collagen.